All right, so we are SHS CS Club 2020-2021, and if you've been here before, we used to like only do use-ago stuff, but this year we are like expanding a lot, and we wanted to talk about specifically what we're gonna be doing this year. So first off, about us, just a generic view of what we were gonna be doing. What we were gonna do is we're gonna meet every Monday at lunch, and our plan is we want to give you guys more hands-on experience because just explaining solutions to problems or just like going over algorithms is not very fun. So we wanted to give you guys some more demos, and we're planning on giving lectures on a ton of CS topics. And then we're also going to give you guys assignments and resources. So of course, if you want to use the resources, feel free to use them. If you want to do the assignments, feel free to do the assignments. But like, it's up to you, right? Like if you could take advantage of these resources as much as you want. If you don't want to use them, you won't use them, but you won't learn as much, right? So if you want to learn as much as possible, do the resources that we give to you. Okay, so we're just going to briefly introduce ourselves for the officers. I'm Rohan. I'm a co-president with Mason, who unfortunately could not be here. And my background in CS is I started doing use-ago, and like for the past 2 years, I've been like looking at other kind of things like cybersecurity and like web dev and all that cool stuff. Jeff, who are you here? I don't think I saw him join, but I know Studi's here. Studi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Stuti and I'm a sophomore and I'm the treasurer. And my background's mainly Usico, but I'm excited to learn a bunch of new stuff this year too.
All right, so the schedule for the year. A lot of you guys, I know, I've been talking to you guys said all that you guys are mostly interested in Usico. So of course, we're gonna start off with algorithms, all the good stuff. Sorting, stacks, queues, BFS, DFS, greedy, DP, Dijkstra. There's a ton of really cool stuff you can learn in algorithms. And like, that's how I got into CS, right? Like, I think algorithms is probably the coolest thing. Did you have a question or?
Oh yeah, I'm just wondering what level, like division are we targeting here?
I mean, so of course, like, I think bronze to silver is mainly implementation, right? So of course, we're not going to be targeting bronze because I think there's a lot of research for learning languages, right? So we're mainly going to be doing silver to gold and maybe a little bit of gold to plat, but mostly silver to gold. So yeah, our main focus is going to be algorithms, and we'll probably cover most of the main ones you need for silver. Then the next thing we're probably going to talk about are systems, and systems, like, we don't talk about it at all in high school because there's no like competitions for systems or anything, but it's really cool how your computer works, okay? Like, you might use REPL and you just click the play button and then somehow your C++ code gets run, right? Or somehow magically your Python code gets run. But the way the computers actually work, like how the CPU is structured, is actually really, really complicated, and it's really, really cool. And then, of course, there's computer security hacking, actually. So we're going to be doing some fun hacking stuff. I kind of want to start a cybersecurity team this year. So if any of you guys are interested, come to next week's meeting. There's actually competitions for cybersecurity where you have to like hack a bunch of websites, hack a bunch of C programs. They have a bunch of puzzles and stuff, so it's really cool. There's also cryptography if you're interested in math. I know Nalay is interested in math. Anybody else think they would be interested in cryptography? No, yes, maybe? No one?
That AOPS said that like number theory goes with
Yeah, it's very number theory intensive. Like RSA encryption is like pure number theory. Yeah, but there's a lot of cool stuff there. There's ciphers, all that cool stuff. Okay. We're also going to talk about how the internet works, because most of you probably have no idea what the heck happens, how your router actually like gets packets sent across the network to a completely separate computer that's somewhere else in the world, right? So we'll talk about that. And then of course, CTS, which are the competitions we're going to be participating in. And then we're of course going to have the obligatory unit on AI and ML, because that is the biggest buzzword. Honestly, I think that even though people have heard a lot about AI and ML, it's really not the most like cool thing you could do in CS. But of course, we're going to talk about it. It is cool, but it's not the coolest thing there is out there. So keep your mind open. Don't just wait for the AI ML thing and be like, oh, wow, that's like the coolest thing I heard of. Let's only come for these meetings, because everything else is very cool too. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple demos real quick, because I think that there's a lot of really interesting things we could talk about here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hack a website, okay? So let me know if you can still see my screen when I click this link. Could you guys see what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to do, so this over here is Pico CTF. So they basically have a bunch of these hacking problems. And if you guys want to check them out, feel free to do so. But what we're going to be doing today is a web exploitation one. Which one did I want to do? This one is a cool one. So essentially you go to this link. Okay, so essentially, we have this website, okay, and we have to hack it. Unfortunately, I already tried this before, so I'm already logged in. So essentially, it's saying hello John because that's my previous username for some reason. I chose John because it's the best username in the universe. But basically, the way that a website knows that you logged in previously is something called cookies, right? So you know that clearing cookies is one way to do it. But what happens if you want to do it for a specific site? Then you could go into inspect element, go to application, and delete the cookie right here. Okay, and now if we refresh the page, you can see that we got logged out. And basically what our goal is to log in as admin, right? So if I try to do admin, you cannot log on in admin, right? But if we do like John again, it lets us log in, and then we got this nice cookie here. So it says JWT, right? So JWT stands for JSON Web Token. So if we copy this thing over here into here, you can see it's basically storing our username. So we could somehow convert this to like, wait. So we could change this to, nope. So we could change this to admin, right? Then we would be able to hack into the thing and basically it'll say think that we're admin. But the thing is you have to have a password here. So essentially they're gonna check if our password here matches their password over there. So we somehow gotta guess the password and that's not happening. But we do have something called a password cracker. So why don't we actually crack this password? Let me put it back in here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing and show you guys how to do a password cracking using your computer. Hold up. Okay. So we're gonna go to terminal. Let me go back here, clear that. Okay, so we're gonna go to my personal hacking folder, and then we're going to go, and then we're gonna see what we got. Okay, so I'm gonna put our token over here, put it in there, and then we're gonna go into John the Ripper, which is the name of the password cracking thing. And what we're gonna do is we're going to do $John, and then we're gonna put the name of the file that we want to crack, right? And then we're gonna use a word list. Okay, hold up. Oh, whoops! Already. Wait. Let me hold up. RM. So already did it. So I need to delete it and then make it again. So okay, and then we'll put it in again. Hold up. Okay, let me do something. One more thing. Hold up. Okay, the thing is, like, I use the same file name, so let me just put in a different one. JWT. I'll just tell you guys what the password is. It's basically I love Pico. I was able to do this like a second ago. I'll try to get it working later. But anyways, so now we know the password. We could change this to admin, and then we could hack the program. I don't know why it was not working. Okay. So if we put this back in the cookie, we put that in here. We refresh it, and hooray, we get the flag. And basically, all you got to do to solve the problem is you put it in here. Unfortunately, I don't know why my password cracker was not working, but I'll figure that out and show you guys later. Okay, so that's like one example of cool things that you can learn with CS, right? That's like you could figure out how to hack websites based on the fact that you know that the username is stored in the cookie, right? So that's one cool thing. Now, another cool thing is the genetic algorithm, which seems like it has nothing to do with CS, right? But you could actually use the genetic algorithm to train computers to play Snake Game, for example. So essentially, it's a neural network, and what he does is he basically trains it using a genetic algorithm, okay? So you can see that it like starts off not knowing what the heck to do. It doesn't even go for the food, right? And you can see the generation, right? So essentially what it's doing, it is taking the best, it just randomly generates a bunch of these snakes and see which one's the best. And then just like natural selection, right? It basically takes the best one and lets it go. And then eventually the best one will keep making new offspring. And then you'll eventually have one really, really good snake. So if you guys are taking bio, you probably know how natural selection works. So that's really cool. And then I'll just fast forward through it because he go through the whole thing. So you can see it's progressively getting better and better, right? And basically all it is just randomly. It's just copying nature. It's just doing it completely randomly. And then the best one lives on and passes its genes on to the next offspring. So it's really, really cool. So if we go to the very end and then we put this back to normal, you can see that it literally got like a score of 108. So it's pretty insane how you could use the genetic algorithm to solve these problems. But let me just show you a better example of this. So you can see like it has like all these random dots that are just randomly trying to get to this point, but each time only the best dot survives. So you can see that it keeps getting better and better. And what's even cooler is that it doesn't just, is not only able to just go from one point to another, it can even start dodging obstacles, right? Let me start it from here. So see, it randomly just does it, and then eventually it's able to figure out, because one of them got there, and it's like, oh, I'm the best one, let me make similar ones to myself, and then eventually you have a ton of these dots that are able to get to the endpoint. So that's another really cool thing you could do with AI. And then now let us talk about how your code actually gets compiled, okay? So essentially, let us go to my other personal folder. Okay, and we can make a C++ file because all of you guys love C++, right? So why don't we do main.cpp? Okay. Actually, why don't we just do a C file because C is even better than C++. So essentially right here, I got my very simple C program, right? And a computer can't just look at this and be like, oh, we gotta like put hello world into the terminal. It actually has to compile it somehow. So why don't we see what happens if we compile it? So essentially you can just do that with C gcc o main.app. Whoops. .cpp, my bad. Well, okay, gcc, oh, sorry, main.c, okay. -o main.c, okay. So you can see now, if we look at main, we could cat main. It's just a bunch of random stuff, right? Like this right here is machine code. So the machine could read this, but we have no idea what the heck all this is saying. So we actually gotta, so when we run it, right? Okay, it worked. It's saying hello world, right? /main. But how did the machine know to do that? So what we could do to see exactly what's going on is we could do -d main type less and then /main. This right here is machine code. Literally, this is all the machine sees. It sees a 55 and then it knows to do this command. Then it sees like this sequence of numbers. It knows to do this command and so on and so forth. And it's all stored at these locations in memory. So essentially your computer is not running your actual C program. It's converting it to this machine code format that it can read and then actually running it. So essentially the cool thing about that is now we could actually see how it translates to a CPU. So let me open up the CPU right here. This right here is a computer CPU built from scratch, okay? So this person literally took very basic stuff like AND gates and OR gates and turned it into a legit CPU. So essentially, it takes an instruction, right? It passes it into this thing, which splits it up into a ton of different things, and then it passes it into the ALU. And basically the ALU does all the computations, it passes it over to here, it stores it in some registers, and then it passes it around. And then it actually, only using these components, is able to run any C program you possibly could imagine. So we'll probably talk about this more in detail when we get to systems, but the idea that you could take like a C program and convert it into like this machine code, which is then runnable by just this mechanical like system of AND and OR gates is really, really cool. Okay. And then another thing that's really cool that you could do with CS is you could do, you can make games really, really easily, okay? So I'm just gonna show you my code for the game. So we could go into, let me go to my Finder and find it. So if we go to here, we have this game, right? Pretty fun game. You could jump around, get stuck in the boxes. Guess how many lines of code this takes to write? Anybody have any guesses?
100?
No, not, well, you're pretty close actually. Any other guesses? Do you think it's more or less than 100?
More like maybe 1,000.
No,
I think
actually,
no,
it's
like
only 60 lines, okay? It literally takes 60 lines to make this thing. So let me show you the code, okay? And it literally took me 15 minutes to code it up. So if you know how to do this, it's super, super easy. So go over here, go to here. This is all the code that you have to write, okay? You basically draw the background of your game. You draw the actual character. You draw it at X, Y, and then have a certain width and height. And then you set its velocity and stuff like that. So literally only using 56 lines of code, I was able to make a game that you actually kind of fun. Well, I mean, obviously this is kind of boring. You just jump around, but you can make way cooler things if you spend more than 15 minutes just coding up on your computer, right? I could show you guys even more of these examples, right? So let's see. Examples. So let's see how long the snake game takes actually. So this is all they took to make the snake game, okay? It's literally like, it looks like only like 200 lines of code or 400 lines of code. They made the entire snake game just using that. Well, I'm not exactly sure what he used to. Oh yeah, okay, he does use arrows. I don't know, maybe I have to. Well, anyway, the point is, like, you can make a ton of cool stuff. Let's just go through a couple more examples. Which one do you guys want to see? Let's see. What about smoke particles? How long does this take? Okay, that's pretty long, but like still, you can see that like using processing, you can make like a ton of really, really cool things really, really fast. So we're going to teach you guys how to do that as well. And now just for one last demo, this is going to be kind of talking about what we plan to do to make this even more interactive. So I made this website, right? So CS Club, hold on, let me go to an incognito tab. Okay. So using React.js, we were able to make this site, okay? And essentially we're gonna have a club-wide competition, okay? So essentially what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna give you guys challenges, you guys solve them, and you guys get flags, just like we did with that hacking thing, and you submit it to this website. So you sign in with Google. I'm gonna sign in right here, so my home account, okay. God dang it, why does it have to two-step verify me? Okay, hold up. Let's do my other account. Okay, and also this website literally only took me hold up. This website only took me like 2 days to make. So the thing is, you can make like really, really cool websites in like 5 seconds. So basically, here's your website. It literally already found my profile picture from my school account. You could go to challenges, you enter your flag here, you submit it, whatever, and then you have a leaderboard. Okay, so that's what we're planning to do. It's not done yet. I'll release it when it's done. But if you guys want to participate, it'll be very fun. So feel free to join there. Okay, so right now, do you guys have any questions or any like suggestions for what you guys kind of want to see or what's kind of interesting to you? I'm gonna stop screen sharing while I figure out this password thing. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Anybody? Like, what topics are we covering? Yeah.
How should we start to learn how to hack stuff?
Okay, that is a very good question. So basically, that Pico CTF thing is very helpful. Let me show you actually again. Pico CTF. Hold up. Okay, you could see my. Okay, wait, hold up. Okay, you can see my screen, right? So if you go to Pico CTF resources, right? They basically have all this stuff. So general skills, it teaches you how to like use terminal, okay? And terminal is a really cool skill to use, and you probably need to know how to use terminal if you want to do any good coding. So this basically teaches you how to use terminal. You could do a bunch of stuff here, and then you could use like in-terminal text editor and stuff. So this teaches you how to do that. Also, to do CS, you also have to understand how hexadecimal works. You have to understand how like decimal and binary work, because essentially like in CS, they convert between decimal and binary a lot, right? Because a computer could only read binary. So that's really cool. Then if you want to learn like cryptography or something, so right here, there's a ton of different ciphers. You can learn how to like decrypt different ciphers and stuff like that. It teaches you about hashing. I took a course on computer security this year at Berkeley, and they have like a much better, they have a lot more detail. So I'll put the link on the Facebook group if you guys want to check that out. So yeah, this is how you learn how to do hacking. You do it here, and then you can do the problems, of course, as well. So yeah. Any other questions or any other like suggestions, like anything you guys want to see? Okay, well, let's see. Of the thing that I showed, which one seems the most interesting to you guys?
Yusako.
Yeah, okay, Yusuko is pretty interesting. Okay. Well, what do you like about Yusuko though? Like,
That problem solving.
yeah, okay, that's what I really like about Yusuko because
Wait, but why do people pronounce it Yusako? Like, isn't it Yusako?
who knows, dude? It's the same thing. I mean, okay, no, like, how do you pronounce Yusamo? Oh, I guess Yusamo makes more sense, huh? No, way, you gotta be the deciding factor. Is it Yusuko or Yusako?
Pronounce
I
it
always
as
stress the A on every single one of the Olympiads.
Okay, that's fair. I'm very inconsistent, unfortunate.
all right, wait. It kind of depends on what the letter after the A is, right? Like you can call it Yusako, but then like you have to call it Yusafo. But like
Okay, that's fair.
you can call it like either Yusamo or Yusamo.
I think Yusumo sounds cooler though, honestly
Yusumo sounds-
speaking.
No, Yusamo sounds more like.
Comma.
Uh, okay. Well, if you guys want to stay and ask me questions, you guys are free to go, but I'm going to figure out the password thing. So if you guys want to stay, it would be great because then I can actually show you guys how to do some password cracking and that would be fun. Or you guys could ask me questions while I'm doing that. So feel free to drop out if you're not interested, but we'll start like the actual stuff next week. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've only done intro to CS, and a lot of what you guys are talking about sounds like way beyond my level. Do you recommend? I think it might be like a bit of a waste of time if I stay here, and I don't want to drag you guys down. But do you guys think do you think I could stay here?
Yeah, for sure. Wait, we're starting very, very simple, okay? So algorithms is basically just your intro to CS plus like applying it, basically. So the main requirement is knowing how to code, right? And this week, I'm going to put out some resources for actually learning a language, right? So what you guys want to do this week is probably like work on your languages and then get a certification from HackerRank, okay? So essentially on HackerRank, you go practice a bunch of languages and then once you get a certain proficiency at a language, then you can get a certification. So I think if you want to be on a track to stay with what we're doing, all you got to do is just stick with the assignments, and I think they'll build up pretty nicely. So for example, for you, if you've just taken intro to CS, I would just do like HackerRank problems, okay? Because they teach you how to like problem solve, and they're also just like teaching you how to apply your coding to more complex stuff. So I think you'll be fine.
Wait, are we also doing code forces?
I mean, you don't really have to do that as a team, but like if you want to wake up at 7:35 every morning, then go ahead.
In
I
the
don't really do
summer, I
code
used to
forces.
do that, but now I can't.
Yeah, it's not that fun. I mean, you could try it. I mean, it's not like I would not recommend it honestly though.
Is it okay if you only know like one programming language, or do you need to know multiple?
Well, you only had to know one to actually like do the stuff that we're gonna talk about for the first like whole semester. So you know one, you're good for the first semester. Then basically like the coding I'm gonna do is like really simple in terms of language. Okay, so like you're not gonna have to write that much code. It's more understanding how it works. So you'll learn a little bit of Python if you stick with us, right? Like I could teach you like really basic Python. It's not that hard, but just knowing one language allows you to learn other languages really quickly. So just
Yeah,
know one
I
language.
just know Python, but I don't know any CSS or Java.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Like literally, Python is good for anything. Python's the best language if you don't want to learn multiple languages, honestly. Yeah. Other questions?
Is Python viable on Gold?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like honestly, the main thing that's hard is the actual algorithm, right? If you get the right solution, the implementation is literally like not that different for different languages. So as long as you're able to solve the problem, like in one language, you can solve it in any language, literally. So I would say it's viable. Other questions?
Yeah, is like you're hacking. Can you only hack like that one website, or can you hack more than that?
I mean, okay, so they have like a ton of problems. So obviously you could use that one. Then they have like a ton of these competitions that let you hack like a bunch of different types of websites and different problems. Technically, you're not supposed to, right? It's illegal to just hack a random website. So obviously don't do that. But the thing that's really cool about hacking, right, is if you know how to hack something, you know how to protect your own stuff, right? Like if you don't know how to protect your own stuff, then you're just gonna get hacked. And like the more you know about hacking, the more you can protect yourself against that kind of stuff.
Wait, so what are the things that we're learning in this club again?
So the first thing is algorithms, right? So probably like use to go related stuff. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing would be like cybersecurity, hacking maybe. And then next thing is like web dev maybe, and also systems, right? Like how your computer compiles code. So we're just going through literally everything in to do with CS basically.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, all right. See you guys.